Hello, how are you today? This is JilliBling, and today's project is using Regal Reindeer Bundle and also Eden dies, and that's for this die right here. So here's my two little samples. And I use puff paint. We'll do that today. And here's the other one. Okay, so this is the Eden frame. To me, it kind of makes it look like a snow globe. So this I saw online from aromasinart.com. Had a very similar layout to this. And we'll be using this designer paper. This is in the holiday catalog. It's a real classic paper. Right here, Boughs of Holly designer paper. So that's this piece right here. So that's what will make the frame. So I'll run that through the machine. And you know, this is cut to 5 1/4 by 4. And if you put it just a little bit at an angle, and I'm looking at this part of the frame, that part here and here, it fits just a little bit better. So here it is cut out. That's going to be for stamping. This is thick white cardstock. And this stamp set is just so cute. I love the reindeer, both of them. So that, a little bit of a liner. So the stamp set has two different deer. This one with his head down perfectly has him chatting with the bunny. And then this one with the head up and the little girl offering an apple. So I think another one with the apple and the girl. These trees are great, but they're kind of hard to color in. But if you put puff paint over them, you don't have to color them in perfectly, which is really nice. Okay, so before I stick this onto here, I want to do the scene. So see how I have some pool party blends down here? I had to pull those out. Pool party. And there's a little stamp, this little thing right here, which makes little mounds of snow. And I like just a few stars. So let's do one similar to this, but with the little girl. So I'll start with stamping the mounds of snow on here, and it's nice to have the frame somewhat in place so you know where to do the stamping. And I'll do that in Memento. So maybe and you don't have to push really hard because you don't want to get a distorted image. And just a few. Okay. And then maybe a few stars, or I should put the words first. But maybe I'll put them on this side this time. So this one says Merry Christmas. So in Cherry Cobbler, let's do the, I think it's the peace on earth. So that could go right here. Good. And then a few little stars in the sky. And there's two stamps for stars in the sky. And I'm not going to put too much, otherwise it'll get too busy. So on here, I will stamp the reindeer and the little girl. Perfect. I love how crisp that comes out. And little girl, apple girl. Oop, not good. That's better. And there's dies for everything. For the bunny, for the tree, for the girl, for both of the moose. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out and color it. Look at that. So this can go, and it's okay if it goes down over your little frame. Just like that, but I want to color in the snow first before I attach it. So to color in the snow, pool party. And definitely where the mounds are. And then just a few swooshes. Swooshes of snow. Then the same with pool party light. And then for the snowflakes, just a dot right over the top. And if you're not perfectly over the top of the snowflake, that's okay. Because if you're right over the top, you wouldn't see any of the color coming through. Okay, so this is going to go on here. And I have a little trick for putting this on. So with liquid glue, just put glue on the bottom half of the die cut frame. Okay, then place it about where you think it needs to go. You could shift it. Okay, so right now just half of it is glued down, which is the plan. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. And let's work on the inside. So that's the paper base. This is inside paper. I'm just going to let the frame dry. So for the inside, let's see. Peace on earth. What's that other verse? That's nice. So how about the trees go? Okay, this time how about if the words go on the other side and the trees go on the opposite side. So I do the words in cherry cobbler. Good. And the trees in memento, and some stars and some snow. Here's the trees. Okay. And snow. And I want this just to be a peaceful scene. I was thinking maybe I'd put a moose in here, but no need. and then a few stars. Okay, so to color that in, I'll do it the same way. Just mound of snow, a little bit of Pool Party Dark, or you could use Balmy Dark, and then some swooshes. Pool Party Light. And then over the snowflakes. Okay, so let's go back to the frame on the front of the card. This probably had enough time to dry. And that's right where I want it, but I need to attach the other half of it. And don't worry about folding it, because when it has glue in it and you plop it back down, you won't notice any of the folds. And this should fold right into place because the other half is attached. Okay, that's good. Now watch how easy this is. Right in place without getting dirty. Okay, so before I attach this to the front of the card, I'm going to do the puff paint. And I have a few tips on puff paint, which I seem to be using a lot lately. I'm going to puff paint just the snow here at the bottom. So when you tip the bottle, it comes rushing out. But as soon as it's completely tipped over, then it will start coming at a regular speed. So when you do your first tip, just think, where do you want lots of snow? And I think I'll do it right over here. Lots, there's lots right there. But now see how it's coming out regular? And I'm going over the frame and just doing a little swooshing, and then that's it. Then I'll use the heat tool to set it. And so when you're setting it right now, as you could see, it looks wet. It is wet. And it will start to puff, and puff it just until the wet is gone. And then as soon as it's puffed, move on to a different area, because it's really easy to burn puff paint, and you don't want, nobody wants brown snow. Okay, that's it. We'll do a little puff paint on the inside in just a minute. So when you use your heat tool to set anything on paper, whether it be embossing powder or puff paint, the paper becomes warped. Can you see how it's moving about? So use a lot of dimensionals, or use tear tape or Stampin' Seal. but you want something with some really good stick power or lots of dimensionals. And if you can, do it on this one single piece before you put it onto your card base. Otherwise, you'll warp your card base too. So this one, let me see if I have some edges. If I have edges, I'll just use lots of edges, like that thing. And just put it wherever it's real warped. I think the top will be flat. It's just where the puff paint is. You're probably like, that's a lot. I think this one I used tear and tape, but that one's just flat. This one I use lots of dimensionals, but it's kind of warped. And I think with time it kind of straightens out. Okay, so that's where all the warping is. I'll put one right here. And then just regular. Okay, so that goes right onto the card base. Okay. That's, you could still see that it's warped. Well, there, that's better. So let's decorate it with little girl. Isn't she sweet? And this I don't want to be in the way of the words, so maybe right there. I might try to do a few more snowflakes up there because his antlers get in the way. Just a little bit of pool party. Okay. These get put on with dimensionals. I think I need little ones for the girl. Okay. This one, I don't know, it might have to be a half a one. No, it fits fine. Okay, so the reindeer goes first. Make sure there's clearance on the words. Okay, then the little girl. You know, I might make her outfit a little darker. I did that in granite gray and I think it's 100, which is a skin tone color. I think it needs to be just a little bit darker. And her glove too. Then granite gray light for her coat. Okay, so now for the inside. So for coloring the trees, the last video I showed you how to color, just saying that you don't have to color every little thing, because if we do the puff paint on it, if you leave any areas white, it just looks like it's snowy. So I'm trying to get all the tips, and this is soft succulent. But sometimes it's nice not to color and stay in the lines. This is one of those times. Okay. So on this project, each of the insides have a different inside color liner. Like this one has Evening Evergreen, one of them has Soft Succulent, and the other one has Shaded Spruce. And that all came from the designer paper. And what colors are in the designer paper? Okay, but the pattern that we use today, this is just succulent and evergreen. And then the other pattern, which is this one here, it has the shaded spruce in it. But I think, and it also has evergreen and soft succulent in it. So I think any color liner would work just fine. Okay, you could see I'm not coloring this in perfectly. But that right there, that looks pretty good. I might put, oops, soft succulent dark, maybe just a few areas. Oh, I probably should have done evergreen because that's what color this is. That's okay. And you can see I'm not being precise at all. Okay, so puff paint on the trees. Kind of liking those trees just how they are. Maybe I'll do a little bit more of the detail, and I'll just leave these natural, no snow. Or maybe just on the tips. Okay. So, you know when you tip it, it's going to come out full on. Like that. Snow, snow, snow. Okay, so I'm going to just try to do it. I was going to say just on the tips, but there's a whole lot up there. The other ones I just did a zigzag across the whole top of it. Okay, a zigzag on the outside edge. Snow. And this puff paint is on the clearance rack right now. So if you like it, it's a good time to get it. Okay. So this is real warped, which is fine. This time I'll try Stampin' Seal. And that's where I got that big old whole bunch of puff paint. Can you see how big that is? And when it's in the card, yeah, it'll get flattened, but that's okay. The effect is still there. So pull out your Stampin' Seal, because this stuff is sticky. Oop. I might have to heat that just a little bit more, because that big bubble of it had liquid still in it. Okay, just a minute. Okay. So that is it for today's project, Regal Reindeer Day. Very pretty. Thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up, and if you can, share. Have a great day. Bye.